Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa D'Amico, the curator of Come As You Are virtual art exhibit being hosted by the Cultural Alliance of Western Connecticut. And I have the immense pleasure of speaking to the accomplished photographer, Collette Fournier. Collette, I'm so excited to speak with you, and I will do my best to contain myself.
Me too.
So for everyone listening, Colette has two wonderful pieces in the exhibit. One is Bollywood Dancer, and the other one is Mirage Morning Light.
Yes.
Okay, where should we start?
Oh boy. Well, both of the images were made in Florida in 2021, and I was actually stuck down in Florida for about almost 2 years, about a year and a half. I went down to snowbird in Florida and visit my niece, which I'd been promising her for 30 years. So being retired, this was finally the time to do it. And when I got down there about 3 months later, COVID hit, A, and B, I got sick. So it was kind of like going through a barrage of doctors and, oh, just what a drag. I don't have tolerance for not being 100%, you know. But anyway, so the first image, or I should say the second one, is my Mirage. She's my niece. She's my first niece. So I have many nieces, and I'm just about to have a new grandniece right now as we're talking. But she runs a hip hop studio in Florida, and for many years she was a paralegal. And because she went to schools like the schools in New York for dance, LaGuardia College and Borough of Manhattan Community College, she was always into the performing arts since young. And so she has this hip hop studio in Florida. She just gave up the paralegal career. And a lot of times we talk in the morning because she was always running like 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Between having morning classes at different schools and evening classes in her studio. She's always on the run. So we'd talk in the bathroom. And I just started noticing I love what the water was doing, and she was washing her hair and squeezing it out, and it's like this would make a really nice photograph. And one of the things that the Kamoinge, I'm part of a photography collective, an African American photography collective, Kamoinge, and one of the things the men used to ask the women is how come we don't shoot more nudes? It seemed to be kind of almost in a sense more of a male thing. And I've always thought about that. You know, I've always thought about that. So I think in my archives, I maybe have one other nude. And I asked her one day, and it took me a little while to ask her because I wanted her to feel, you know, comfortable. But I've been photographing her since she was in diapers, so she was fine. So that was really the backstory on that particular image.
It's such a beautiful perspective.
Thank you.
It
Thank
really is. And it has a little bit of a voyeuristic quality to it, but
you.
the beauty of it, and there's really a poetry in the softness of the figure and the way the light is hitting all those water droplets on the glass. I feel like you've captured part of her soul. It's a
Oh, that's
beautiful,
nice.
beautiful perspective, and it's just visual poetry to me.
Oh, thank you. Well, I did send her the information to let her know we got into the show and I'd be doing this interview. She was really excited. She was very, very excited. And I took pictures. She loves to model, so you know, we went into different parts of Hollywood Beach and you know different areas and she always modeled for me. She loves it. Whereas I have another niece who had a little one about 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, and I wanted to do a pregnancy photograph of her, which I have a few in my archives, and she was totally against it. I was so hurt, but I understood because I know her personality. But, you know, I was looking at doing something with maybe lace, you know, lace clothing so that she's not totally nude. But I was just hurt. So, you know, if she ever has another baby, I got to try to, you know, try my best to get her to
People have to
work with.
understand when you know an artist, you may end up in their work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
really true. Now,
That,
the other piece in the exhibit is Bollywood Dancer. To me, these two pieces are on almost opposite ends of the spectrum. Yet I knew they were both your work without even having to see your name.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, that's interesting. Now that's a very, very interesting story. And we're visual people, so I used to go for these walks every day. I couldn't drive, they wouldn't let me drive. I was on meds.
Mm-hmm.
It was a drag. It was just real, but it was still Florida, so you had to make, and it was COVID, but you still had to make the best of it.
Right.
So I would take these daily walks through this park. I'm trying to remember the name of the park. I can't think of it right now. But where my niece lived in her co-op or condo townhouses, there was an adjoining uh, set of private houses as well on the other side, but it went through Linear Park is the name of the park. So it went through Linear Park, and then in walking through Linear Park, I discovered I could take a shortcut past the mailboxes and the pool and get into the other complex, and then just so it's about maybe a 45-minute walk. So I tried to do that as much as I could just to at least get the exercise in. So one day I'm walking through the park. I'm walking through the second complex next to my niece, and I see this Indian-looking woman carrying these huge leaves. I mean, absolutely huge, huge leaves. And, that would have been a shot in itself. So I befriended her, and I said, miss, you can actually root those and regrow them. And she says, no, I have so many, I'm trying to get rid of these. And she was going to the garbage, which was, right near her home. So we talked for about a half an hour. It's in the sun, it's hot. And I'm trying to think. She invited me in. She invited me in. We had some tea and we kept talking. She was the most amazing woman, just absolutely amazing. And as I got to know her, first of all, when I walked into her living room, which was right through the backyard, and there was a canal behind her house, which is one of the images you see. She said to me, well, first of all, the first thing I see is a tripod when I walk into her living room. No furniture, but a sewing machine and fabric and a seamless and a tripod and a video camera. And it's like, oh my God, I'm in my element. And she said, yeah, she says, yeah, I do. She does these Bollywood dancers. So she sews, she designs, she buys her fabric from India, which is where her family is from. And she sells stuff online, and she's a one-woman show. She goes to the parks and she videotapes herself, and just an amazing woman, lots of energy. And so we arranged for me to go and photograph her, and I wasn't really feeling well. I still wasn't feeling well, but I just got into the shoot, got into my element, and she was so helpful because she had so many ideas, and she was just so willing to work with me, and we changed clothes, and she put on different jewelry, and she kind of designed her hair a little different. And we had space to work, and, we worked outdoors a little bit, and it was great. We were supposed to go to the beach one day, but we never had the opportunity. So, and her big thing was that she was trying to get back to India for a little bit. So she might be there now. I don't know. So I decided I wanted to make it a triptych, because it was such an interesting shoot, and it had so many aspects of her personality in the shoot that I wanted to make it a triptych, which is, how I presented it.
I strongly recommend to everyone listening to please see Colette's pieces in the exhibit, which is just go to cawct.org, and I'll put the information in the video, but also see more of Colette's work, because she, through the lens of her camera, she sees so deeply into her subjects, and by being a viewer, it will touch your heart, but it will also be very reflective and contemplative. It's just, what you do is magical.
Thank you.
Thank you for speaking to me today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, this has been wonderful. I appreciate your interest in my work, and I more so appreciate your interest in other artists' work and how you've been promoting us, and the diversity of the projects you come up with. I think it's absolutely fascinating. You really have an artistic brain and an artistic heart, and the two really do work together. So I thank you, Lisa, or Dr. Lisa. I mean, you are phenomenal. You really are. I didn't know who you were for a long time. I knew your name, but I really didn't know, a whole lot of your background. But, once I saw the Dr. Lisa, that just said it for me. This lady is serious, and, she gives a lot of thought to her work and artists that she's working with. And we need that in this community. We really need that outlet for artists. So thank you for making the time for me to, and actually yesterday was my birthday, so I'm still talking to people on the phone.
Collette, you've left me speechless. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. Be well. Thank you.